Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here today with my dear friend and mentor, Sensei Victoria Whitfield of the Visionary Shaman Circle and the Visionary Challenge and all the visionary stuff that always entrepreneurs really love to talk about and hear about. And I invited Victoria here today to talk to me because I've been working with her for about a year now. Some of you know that, some of you don't. But you probably have noticed a shift in my energy and how I'm showing up for work and what I'm doing as a leader, both for my clients and my entrepreneurial community. And that has everything to do with work that I have been doing with Sensei Victoria. So I wanted to share that goodness with the world and specifically to talk about becoming energy aware and how that has really changed how I show up in my business, because I do all the programs, right? I've done all the tactics, I learned how to do all the things, I teach everybody, and that's all really important to know and understand and work that into your business. But it wasn't the thing that was getting me, beyond myself. So I think it's just really important to have this conversation. So I invited Victoria here. We're just going to kind of start talking because that's what she and I do. We don't necessarily have an agenda we're following, but that is what we are doing here today in your social media feed. So with that, Victoria, why don't you tell the people who don't know you a little bit about what you do and who you are, and then we will get into our juicy conversation.
I'm so happy. Yay. And I'm so proud of you, Susan. I've gotten to watch you blossom over the last year, and it's magnificent to get to be your journey partner. So hooray! Happy to be here. So a little bit about me, if this is the first time someone's seeing or hearing about me. So I'm what's called the world's first business Reiki master, which means I specialize in energy clearing as well as energy mastery for entrepreneurs and leaders. So energy is the force behind all action. And so the more that we master our energy, the more we're able to take massive action that is potent, that has high conversion, that is highly effective. So coaches, leaders, business owners tend to come to me to increase their productivity and profits. They want to fuel their performance and take it to the next level. But they've been through other programs like yourself. I've also been through multiple other like marketing and business coaching programs, right? I've been receiving coaching for the last 12, 13 years straight, like I just from one program to the next. And what happens is that in these programs, we uncover, as we're developing our businesses, that it's actually an excuse to develop ourselves, right? So it's a lot of personal growth and development as well as business development. Sometimes we as the founder, we as the business owner, the entrepreneur, we as the main operator of the company can be the one thing, the bottleneck of the business. Okay, so along that path, we find, if it is to be, it's up to me. There's a mindset shift that's got to happen in order for me to take this mission, this vision, this movement to the next level. I've got to be able to see past just the end of my own nose. Like, how can I shift my mindset to be the person that receives that next level that I see for myself and for my people, right? If you have a team. And so this mindset stuff comes up, and then in comes all of these like kind of woo or out of left field ways to approach mindset. So we start with positive thinking, but then there's like, oh, you should meditate, or oh, you should do yoga, or there's things that like enter us into mindset and then energy awareness. Mindset is the spirit guides are saying mindset is like the gateway drug for this kind of stuff.
I would agree with that. that.
I'm at a Tony Robbins event and we're like, all right, peak state, I gotta clear out, make your move, blah, blah, blah. Like throughout the whole freaking day, right? 15-hour sessions with Tony, with like thousands of people. And then he's like, all right, we're gonna meditate. And I'm like,
What?
okay, interesting. And he's like, oh, fulfillment. And like, it's not just about the numbers and making things bigger, better, faster, stronger, but how do you feel about that? Are you fulfilled? Are you drained and feeling like a lump of sludge at the end of every day? Have your kids not seen you in 1,000 years? Is your partnership personally as well as your partnership professionally suffering because of the like high performance modes? So this energy stuff starts to enter in through the mindset conversations, and the more you start engaging mindset, the more you start getting introduced to energy. The two are just inextricably tied. Would you agree, or what do you think?
Oh yeah, I think, and I like that you called the mindset the gateway drug, because every program I did, there was always the mindset component. And for a long time, that's kind of where I was stuck. I was just using mindset. So affirmations and all that great stuff, and getting into the vortex, and whatever you want to call it. And it's great. I'm like huge believer in mindset, but nothing was going into that next stage, and then connecting it with the energy and the deeper type of work around that is what we do. And once I realized that, it just is cracking me up that you called it a gateway drug, because it's like, oh, well, that mindset stuff is nice. If I want to have a casual evening, I might have a little dose of mindset. But if I really want to treat myself, I think I'm going to go do a vision journey.
I love it. Like you're taking micro doses of mindset. Yeah, I want to tune in. I want to tap in. I want to turn on to who I really am, just to unwind. And I love it. It's so true. It's so true. And what can happen is that it starts to become this rabbit hole that has its own special weird flavor of stuckness. Because a lot of meditation tends to, and mindset stuff tends to want to just kind of, how do you say, down regulate you, or like calm you down. And side note, extremely important, right? We're all stressed and anxious and
you got to get still before you can see where you go into action. So yeah, very important, but they can't be all you do.
It's important, because especially if you are a high performance or an individual interested in high performance, right? If you're a high performance individual or a person interested in increasing your performance, when like meditation then becomes this sort of thing of like, oh, I'm slowing down. Like I'll put that as an extracurricular, like an entertainment, unwinding type of activity. And what's unfortunate is that that's where most of the meditation stuff kind of stops. All right, you light your candle, you do the hokey pokey, turn yourself around, and then you chillax, right? Versus meditation has been used for centuries, millennia actually, to increase performance, like the center of commerce and decision making. If we look back in history for millennia, like if you think of kings, right, kings, queens, emperors, they always had their seer.
Right, you're right. Yeah.
Or I've had the honor of visiting Delphi in Greece, and so there's the Oracle of Delphi. I remember when we were there doing the tour, the Temple of Apollo and all this types of stuff. There's the Temple of Apollo where the Oracle of Delphi is sitting, right? A psychic or a seer, essentially, is what they were classically called. And right next to the temple where the Oracle is like 15 banks of like what the heck? And it was known, there's even a monument called the belly button of the world. Like that place was known as the center. So there would be leaders and business owners and merchants and they would all come to see the seer, not because they're there to chillax and just like, positive vibes only. But they're there actually doing business. That's why there were so many banks. The banks were popping up not because they're paying the Oracle a crap ton of money, no, but because it's a center of decision making and forecasting.
Yeah, and that's finish your thought, but then I have another thought.
Okay. So to finish the thought around that, there's a certain type of meditation that's not being taught in these business and marketing programs, right? Or mindset, personal growth and development programs. It's just not being taught that can actually be the key to unlocking next levels of productivity, profits, as well as fulfillment in your life. Like there's something that can supercharge your ability to take massive action doing meditation in a certain way. And that is what I specialize in. That is what I teach. That's what you've been doing with me for the last year. End thought.
So my question was going to get you into that answer anyway. So great minds think alike and all that. But you're right. It's, when I hear people talking about meditation, they're not talking about it in the way that we talk about it in our community, as this, like, I'm going to check in now. I need to make this decision. I need to decide whether to go forward. I need to decide whether to change what I'm doing, and we, as well, I think as humans, but as business owners, we get very in our heads to make those decisions, and we're running numbers and we're like, doing all the stuff. Whereas when we take the step back and meditate in this very specific way that I will have you describe in a moment, those answers come, and they just come easily. And it's really the first time you experience that, I don't really know how to describe the experience of being in journey and having that answer just come in a way that is so clear and so like, of course, this is the next step, and then you're like, okay, I know what I have to do. And it just like, now as humans, we can fight that message and continue doing the stuff. So that's another topic for another day. But, we come out of journey and actually listen to what, listen to it. It makes everything just so easy. And then all that stress is going away. So I know I've said the word journey several times. I'm sure there are people that don't know what I'm talking about, but.
And I've been challenged by our tribe to try and, how do you say, de-jargonize my language. So I'm going to do my best.
Okay, de-jargonize.
Organized to be as simple and clear and, how do you say, universal in describing what this is for everyone, because it's kind of like navigating only with a roadmap, but no compass or GPS. So here you are, you're at your house, right? And you want to drive to the mountains to take a fabulous hike. Mm-hmm. Excited, that is the goal. You have a vision, an image in your head of, I'm pulling in at the mountains. There's the opening to the park. I'm so excited to go and have this fabulous walk in the mountains. All right, that's the goal, that's the idea. And so there is no internet, no cell, no GPS, nothing. You may have radio, but it's just because you're listening in on random stuff playing on the radio. You're not like radioing somebody, okay? All you have is an atlas, right? A roadmap of the area. How are you going to make it to the mountains to have your lovely walk? What people used to do back in ancient history before the GPS was invented and all of that, before we had cellular and Wi-Fi and all to be able to ask for directions and stuff before there was people everywhere, on corners and things that you could stop and ask, okay, I'm trying to get to blah, blah, blah. Before that, there was the compass, right? And using the sun to align so that you can find where's north, right? Using the stars, using sunlight, right? And using your compass.
Mhm.
That was how you learned to navigate successfully, right? So if you just have an atlas, if you just have a roadmap of the area, it's going to be very difficult because you're just going to have to bang around until you figure out, oh, I am here, right? If you ever got lost at the mall of like, where am I in the mall? Okay, you are here. Finally, like we can start navigating in the direction of where we're trying to go. But without that you are here dot, there's the compass, right? That provides where's true north, right? By magnetism, it magnetizes to the poles of the earth so that you know where's north and where's south, and you can orient yourself accordingly. That then determines the decisions that you make of, all right, I'm going to go a little bit further here, and then looks like I'm going to have to turn left because I know where north is.
Yeah.
And so having your compass gives you the ability to navigate clearly and accordingly, right? And then over time we innovated and had GPS so that there's this global positioning system of multiple satellites saying, go here, recalculate, turn around, go back over here, that type of a thing. There's it's more advanced now. But I wanna open with this as an analogy for what we do in this meditation that we call journeying. Which, side note, I am a drug and alcohol free company. I do not believe, and herbs as well. Like there is nothing.
Yeah. You don't need it.
You don't need it. You have all of the DMT in your brain that you could possibly. There's no need to like leave the sacred teas and herbs to the people who have lived on the land for their entire lives and know what they really mean because their grandmother
Hold that thought.
was able to respect them enough and their land to show them exactly how to use that. Like don't like that's another topic.
A whole other topic, yes. I'm with you on that. And yeah.
Oh my gosh. And when people talk about this practice, they tend to associate now, especially with and like those ancestral herbal tribal stuff. And this is not that. So to use that as an analogy, this is essentially the equivalent of finally having a compass. Whereas you're going to these business and marketing coaching programs, these personal development programs, these books, these info courses, right? Constantly getting roadmaps and atlases. And then the creator will hand you their true north of here's what I believe, here's what I say is important, here's what I think the trajectory of your life and business is. And that's cool for them. Or here's how I've, set my version of true north in order to navigate this roadmap I've given you. However, what about your true north? Like I'm a relativist, so I believe that every single person is the center of all truth and wisdom for them. Like I believe in that truth is relative. So with that, how do you connect to your compass so that you can take anybody's roadmap, right? Or any level of opportunities that come across your way, and you're able to magnetize and find, am I going with this or am I going in the other direction? Like, where's the right next step for me? And so this form of meditation, which the formal name is shamanic vision journey meditation. So that's all the jargon. So it's going to move the jargon away. But this specific form of meditating connects you to your inner compass so that you know what's the right next step for you. You are connected to your truth and your ability to forecast accordingly, to make decisions accordingly, to, how do you say, downsize or clear away things and release accordingly. When you meditate in a certain way, in this way that we practice as a community, it helps you get the clarity that you need so that you can take the actions that are right aligned for you in a custom sense. It's almost like having your mentor or your coach inside you so that you're not even looking to anybody else to be the authority. Instead, now you have direct connection to what is true, what is right, what is the authority. Like it installs it in a very structured, repeatable way so that you have that feeling of certainty, right, and confidence that you're headed in the right direction for you,
right,
on demand. So that
that spills over into every other part of your life. So you just, you start making those decisions with more feeling from a more centered place. So it's fewer distractions, I guess, in some way. At least for me, I've noticed that I don't follow the shiny objects as much, which is just a way to avoid, doing your own work, which is another topic. We always have so many topics that we end up with, Victoria. We need to write them down and actually do so. But it's having that wisdom inside, and I think that not just as business owners, but in society, we are trained not to trust that wisdom inside ourselves. And so there's a lot of, that's what doing this kind of meditation does. It's like reinstilling that trust, like, oh, I actually do know what is right and good for me. Like I actually have very strong opinions about that, rather than wanting to follow, whatever somebody else is saying I should want to get what I want. It's what I have to do. I mean, I've gone a complete circle in the last year. It's like, why am I spinning out with all this other stuff that actually is not what I want, not what I want to do, and doesn't get me the result that I want to get? I need to stop doing that. Even though everybody on the planet is telling me I need to do that. Doesn't work.
So where were you then before Journey? Like what was it like for you before Journey?
Yeah, so before Journey, I would say I was floundering, and had been for several years. I've been a business owner for 20 some odd years, and it has evolved a little bit. And I was wanting to move a new direction in my business. And without going into too many detail, I was spending a tremendous amount of time and money, learning this different type of marketing than I had been doing in the past, working with this different kind of clientele. And I was ignoring the fact that it didn't feel quite right in my gut, that I wasn't having success. I was spending all of my time, all my marketing budget on what was only producing about 15% of my income, and ignoring, these other possibilities, because I had been feeling burnt out. And so rather than exploring how can I shift what I'm doing, and I do well, and I know it comes easily to me, shift it into a way that is affirming, I was trying to go do this other thing over there. So there was a lot of confusion for me, and a lot of, multiple times we're like, well, I just have to do this thing because this successful person says that's what I have to do. And I'm just going to do it, even though it doesn't feel good, even though it's not working for me, even though it is a struggle every step of the way, and from months and months of journey, it's like, finally, I've shifted out of that and am, feeling more excitement and fulfillment, more stable income with the kind of work I had been doing, which I do love. It's so I figured out how to make the shift. I figured out how to bring it back into alignment of where I want to be. And then along the way, this has spilled over into my personal life, radical changes there in how I show up in all aspects. Yeah. So now, I mean, what my friends say to me when they see me now. So, you talk about where I was, but what people say, like, I look happy, I look relaxed, my energy is good. Like, people that don't even talk about energy are commenting on my energy and how different it is. So I think that's pretty cool.
Amazing.
Mhm.
And it's like a secret sauce of like, how did you, okay, so what I'm hearing is that you did have the gut feelings before.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I ignored them.
Like you ignored that. So it's like, it was, yeah, thank you. My spirit guides just said you were available to ignore them. Like how it,
yeah,
the lack of, I would postulate, especially as a person who taught you how to do this, I would that it was the lack of structure around communicating with your gut feelings, your inner compass, that
yeah.
made it easier for you to say, so-and-so made $1 billion doing all of the things better than me, so I'd better listen to them because that's important.
Yeah. That's a really good point. It's that consistent, intentional touching base, which is any meditation you do. It needs to be consistent and intentional. But yeah, once you start doing it, you can't ignore those feelings, wherever they arise. And for me, they move all over depending on what what is going on, So, but now I know I'm more aware of how these messages show up for me also, because some of that was, we always talk about, the gut feeling, which I have very, very strongly, but there's other stuff happening as well all the time that I was completely unaware of.
Yeah.
And what?
It's like I'm having a gut feeling. No, I'm just having indigestion. Oh, I'm having a gut feeling, like I'm getting the chills. No, I better put a sweater on. I think a window's open. I feel like maybe we should be going in the other direction, but so-and-so says, no, honey, just, you don't have to. Like, and then, okay, maybe I'm being too sensitive. Maybe I'm being too dramatic. Maybe I'm, etc., rather than having the process that we practice, which is a certain type of meditation for coming into alignment and clarity with those gut feelings, like to an infinite amount. Like you have the ability to zoom in and to get as many answers as you need as possible.
Yep.
For whatever your question or your decision. I love that she's part of our.
Fiona is always, so for all of you, Fiona joins all of our calls together, and she always starts barking at some like really important moment. What she's whining about right now, and I'm going to grab her, is my partner's coming home. So she's going to get really loud in a second.
I'll carry it here for a moment, everyone, while takes care of Miss Lola and
Fiona back. Everybody loves Fiona. Okay, continue talking. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah. So with that, like as we're talking about this certain type of meditation that we've been practicing for some time, and I love, she's so attentive. Look at her face. Just like, I'm very invested.
Journey, I do it all the time with mom.
So good at it too. Like she's high energy, but when you're meditating, she'll sit on you, and it's like,
yep,
the position's amazing. So especially with practicing this type of meditation, the more that we have over time, the more that we found as a community is that we're receiving visions, and the visions clarify the message, and the visions we're able to explore to help clarify our message.
Right.
Especially this year, that the filming of this video, it's 2021, right? Especially this year, I myself had another breakthrough level of clarity around vision of, we're not just doing this for intuitive development,
right,
intuitive mastery, like personal enrichment, but we're receiving visions as the visionaries of lives and businesses. And so it's like a very defined role. And I wanted to bring that in, like what have
Yeah, totally.
you around that?
Well, yeah, I think it's been interesting watching that come up in that evolution because I've been such a part of it. And I think a lot of the shift for me around my business clarity was when we started talking about showing up as the visionary and really, really talking about that. That helped me step into, because I'm a solopreneur. I'm like, I'm not a leader. I'm not a visionary, whatever. I'm just a writer. Like I really didn't own that for myself until we started talking about it all the time. And I've developed an understanding of what that means for me in my life and my business that's really changing everything and giving me a level of excitement about showing up for the work that I do, showing up for my clients and the way that I show up for them. So it was that shift in the language and the shift in how we started talking about it, to me, really opened everything up and has made a huge difference in just how I'm receiving all of this.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, like literally on the journey with you.
If you are. Just fun and cool.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm not a guru. I'm just a partner. Like let's go. We run in, let's run, kind of a thing. And so, okay, like what for those of you, maybe visionary was also another jargon. So let me
Yeah.
the jargon. For those of us who are entrepreneurs and who are chief cook and bottle washer of the business, but then receiving the coaching to go bigger, to leverage, to increase your income and impact and all of these, and then 10 steps to do that, 15 steps to do that, workbooks, like year-long programs and masterminds and blah, 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 how to do that. There is, again, back comes mindset. There's a mindset shift that must happen, but that I found in the programs that I've gone through is unstructured.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mindset shift of I got it to we got it. From it's up to me, if it is to be, it's up to me versus we are like, I'm thinking of myself as part of a team, right? So going from a singular to a group mindset and behavioral pattern and emotional pattern and communication patterns, it's like, just do it is what the program says. Just stop doing it all yourself and just give it to other people. And the smart person, I'm not being sarcastic, will be like, are you kidding me? Trust no one is how this is dog eat dog, right? To include Fiona, like this is a dog eat dog industry. Like forget a world. This is just industry. Like you want me to just slide it over there and expect someone to do it as well as I can? I'm the person who started this thing and knows how everything works. Insert rant about independent, like I'm can make it, blah, blah, blah. Versus over here, it's a totally different mindset of once you finally make the transition, you look back over there and think, whew, wow, you're working really hard. Look at how hard you're working. That's entirely unnecessary. And so to make that shift one to another, it's unstructured. You're just told to do it. Whereas in our program, this meditation practice, like we meditate in a certain way. It's a series of images that you repeat in the same environment. Every single meeting we have is structured, has an agenda. You can expect what is going to happen every single time, even though you are different every single time you come to each meeting. Like it's a very structured container.
Yeah.
Move your self-image from, if it's going to happen, I got to make it happen. Like I can make it happen to, we got this. What do you think? How can we make this happen? Right. I don't work that hard. no one should work that hard. Like, I believe that myself and all of everyone and my team deserve to have normal lives that
Yeah.
aren't worked into the ground. Like, just to move from one to the other, this meditation process trains you. How do you say? The word I'm hearing is entrainment, like the internal training that establishes a new pattern of thought from the inside out. The more that you practice what we call for short
Yes.
Fiona, the more that we practice from journeying from the inside out, it teaches you skills that come from the visionary mindset of visionaries ask questions. No matter how many questions it takes, we're going to ask like a ton of questions and they keep coming back, right? We have conversations. We expect that I'm going to ask something, you're going to respond, and we're just going to keep going back and forth until we find what's the right thing, right? Visionaries are never, ever alone. Like, never. Like, you don't even see yourself as like a single being. You're always, well, in journey, for example, you're you plus your guides and power animals and all the things like that's. So you think with not just your brain and your energy, but you're calling on all of theirs and like the universe. You're calling on way more resources than just your own. Like this meditation practice entrains you to think like a visionary, as in the visionary officer of your company. That is actually the role in any company of being the compass. Where next? I see things that haven't been made physical yet. I see problems, I solve them, I research, right? And everyone knows what we're doing next because there's a compass that is deciding and pulling us forward. Does that resonate with what your experience has been? Like,
Yes, it does. And I want, what I would add is that can look a lot of different ways because I am a solopreneur. So, you could look at me in my business and say, well, she does everything on her own. Yes and no, I do all my work on my own, but I have a huge support network of people to talk through challenges with, people to call on when I need that extra bit of help. So I think that was an important distinction for me that often with other people when they talk about, not being alone, it's a very structured, you need to build out a team of your VA and this blah, 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 which some people need, some people don't need, you may or may not. So I think that's really important when we talk about that visionary role, is that applies whether you are an independent operator like I am, or whether you have 5,000 employees. It's the same role that the person is playing. And that was the shift for me, and the part to step into around the leadership and being a visionary. It's like, oh, I don't strive that. I don't want a huge business and team, so I can still be visionary if I don't want that.
You can still be guided, you can still be confident, you can still be clear, you can still be excellent at asking questions, you can still be excellent at listening, as you can also still be excellent at following through. And these are all of the qualities that I've gotten to watch you cultivate over the last year, like following through with what's true to you versus trying to push through on what's no longer in alignment with who you are now. It's been really magnificent to witness you be visionary. Woo!
It's been magnificent to be visionary.
Yeah. So this, like, I feel like we're hitting just the tip of the iceberg, and
yeah,
I don't know if we're gonna have to like come back another time or something, because like we came up with 6 other like open loops and rabbit holes. They're like, we need to talk about that another time. We need to talk about that another. So like I'm gonna look at the recording and ask someone, can you write down what were the topics? Because Susan and I have conversations that need to be had.
Yes, and I will go into your group, your Facebook group anytime and have those conversations. That's where I think that should be happening for that community. So it's a date. So we're going to be wrapping up in a second. Fiona's help. Fiona, for heaven's sake, stop it. It's very busy out in front of my house today. But before we head off, I know that you have a challenge coming up next week. So do you want to just say a real quick thing about that? And then I can put links in the comments, but it's really important. And everybody who's still here, thank you for still being with us. Going through one of Victoria's challenges was how I ended up, I've known her for years. We've known each other for years. But I did a challenge that was very life-changing for me, which I don't say often about 5-day challenges. So that's why I always support them when she does them multiple times a year, because they're really fantastic. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about the challenge that you have coming up, because you did restructure it last time, made it even more fabo, and then we'll put the registration link in there.
Thank you, Goddess. And so a challenge, that's basically an immersion learning experience online, especially when you're doing an online challenge. Obviously, Victoria, thank you for stating obvious. So it's an immersion learning experience of, okay, if you want the mindset shift, if you want to have it in a structured way, but in like a condensed amount of time, you want to do it fast. Mm-hmm. A challenge is a great way to go about it. And so if what we've been talking about, everyone, has been resonating for you, you're curious to learn more how you can meditate in a certain way, as well as be a certain way to increase your productivity and profits, specifically being visionary, join us at bevisionarychallenge.com. At the filming of this video, it's Friday, September 10th, 2021. We start on Monday, and that's actually the last one of the year, the live challenge. You have the ability to do the 5-day immersion learning online, right, at your own pace. So there is a do-it-yourself, like self-paced option that you can take anytime, year round. It's really powerful. It's just as transformational when you do it yourself. The only difference coming live is that you have everyone else's energy holding you accountable to really follow through with the lessons. That's the only difference of coming to a live challenge, because our online challenge is actually really dynamic and engaging already on its own. It's just, okay, you need that. And then when you come live, you have the extra accountability to follow through. And if you need energy, live is a great way. So again, it's bevisionarychallenge.com. How it's delivered is through email, Facebook, and if you're coming live, Zoom as well. So it's between email and Facebook. There's also, we have funnels and YouTube videos where it's hosted outside of Facebook, in case you're like, keep me away from the F word.
Yeah.
So you're okay in that department. But again, bevisionary.com, bevisionarychallenge.com is where you find it. And when you go there, by the way, Susan and I had a really awesome conversation about energy and productivity recently, and it's nested on that page, bevisionarychallenge.com. So I invite you to click through on that and watch Susan rock it, because you're amazing. Obviously. You're like, tell me more. Yes, you're amazing. Yes, I am. And you really contributed to our conversation on energy and productivity in a really powerful way. And I think everyone should see that. So
thank you very much. And thank you for being with me today. I always love these conversations. I never know where they're going to go when we start talking.
I love it too. And I love that Fiona showed up. Like, it's, for me, that's normal.
Normal.
Normal. Like, I don't know, for the record, and this I guess will be where I land my plane, is that I love it to see that this is your life, that you're a normal person, right? And for those who are out there marketing, don't cut out your dog being awesome. I want to see how you react when your dog is being awesome, because that makes me know what your personality type is like. And Susan, I know very intimately now. So like when Fiona starts to like do backflips and stuff, Susan's still just as awesome, just like, yeah. So anyway, keep it moving. And I'm like, yes, goddess. So I just had to add that.
Well, I will agree with that. Real life, people want to know the real you, and that's really important. So, all right. With that, we shall say goodbye, and I will see you on Monday.
Righty. See you there.
Bye.